back to my channel. My name's Amy, as most of you already know, and today's video is going to be a quick video. I just wanted to make a second part to the truth about working in a daycare, so this is going to be part 2. So first things first is the truth about working in a daycare. I feel like we don't get paid enough. Of course, that's how it's always gonna be, because in those type of situations, daycares and stuff can't pay more to their employees if they're not getting paid more a week, which is very understandable, and I totally get that. I will say though that the state does offer a really cool program if you work in childcare, that my state in Tennessee will offer to pay 80% of your college for you to get a degree. So that is one thing that is really awesome about working in childcare, is that they give you that option to get your degree. Of course, you have to have money to go to school to get that degree, but it's a really good option for somebody who's trying to get a degree in childcare. So I really think that was great. I will say that there's a lot behind the scenes that you have to do in order to actually work at a daycare. So first of all, in Tennessee, you have to have your CPR and your first aid license. CPR, depending on where you go, can cost up to like $40 or $50 depending on where you go. And then the first aid, sometimes the CPR classes have those in there, but it just depends. So if you hear any noise in the background, just keep in mind that's my rabbits. As well as there are lots of situations that you have to deal with. So like kids biting, kids pinching and slapping, and all those kind of things that you have to deal with. You have to deal with new kids on a regular basis, kind of, not really. It just depends on how your daycare is and how kids leave and come and those kind of things. But a lot of the parents don't seem to, I'm not going to say that the parents don't care, because that's wrong, but in certain situations I feel like the parents don't listen to what you're saying and they just kind of blow you over. We do definitely have a lot of parents who care in the daycare, so I'm not going to say that they're all that way, and don't take offense to it. It's my personal opinion. Most of the parents do pretty care. I will say that back in October we were going to have a fall festival to help the daycare and maybe raise a little bit of money to help the daycare, but we only had 9 out of 40 families offer to come, and so that's not worth the daycare's money to try to get the stuff to get the daycare more money, and it's not worth doing it if the families aren't going to be involved in the daycare itself. We love the parents, and we love most of the kids, I mean all the kids. We love all the kids that are in the daycare. Like, they all have a special place in my heart. I don't have favorites, but I definitely do think that some parents are more into being included in the daycare versus others that just want to kind of grab their kid and go. A lot of them don't want to talk. They just, we got stuff to do, let's go. And I totally understand that, like, in an aspect, like if I was out working a different job and I had a child myself, I wouldn't say I'd be one of those people. Like, I would be worried, but I definitely would say that after a long day at work, I wouldn't want to have to come talk to people, sign my kid out, and things like that. So I totally understand where some of the parents are coming from, especially with most of them working or whatever. I will say though that we at my daycare have a late pickup policy. So for over a certain amount of time, it's so much money or whatever. But that's on a different subject. Personally, with working in a daycare, there are lots of things that you're expected to do. Like I said, you're expected to have your CPR and your first aid. Right now, I don't have my first aid, and I do have my CPR. The first aid, I actually was able to take a class online in order to do it. Unfortunately, come this upcoming year, we won't be able to do that, so I took advantage of it this year because it costs more money to get your CPR license and your first aid. So that's a little bit of a pain, especially because it's out of your pocket, and the daycare, I don't believe, pays for any of it. So it's required by the state, but the daycare doesn't pay for it, so you have to do it yourself in order to even work there. Second thing is with working in a daycare, at least in Tennessee, you have to meet a certain number of hours for courses. So they can either be classes that you go to or courses online. And because I am a new educator, technically, I had to have 16 hours plus 6 hours to be a 3-star. Plus, if you wanted to be a 3-star, you actually had to have a college degree, which is, I think, in my opinion, stupid, but that's the state of Tennessee for you. With working in a daycare, there is a child to adult ratio. In my 1-year-old class, it is 6-1. So we only have 6 because it is that time of year where kids go out and come back in and things like that. But we will end up having, I think, like 10 or 11. So there's me and one more person, so we can have up to 12 kids. I will say that the more kids that you have in one classroom, the harder it is to not necessarily take care of them, but have beds, places, and make sure all the kids are doing everything that they're supposed to and all those kinds of things. So there is that aspect. And I will say that the classes that you have to take for being in childcare in Tennessee is kind of silly, some of them. I understand, like, the child abuse, the SIDS, which is sudden infant death syndrome. If nobody has heard of that before, just throwing that out there. And then a few other classes that you take, I understand. But there are quite a few that you have to take, which I think is just quite silly. But that's just in my opinion, as well as... Whew, sorry about that. As well as you have to, I absolutely hate this thing. I know that I understand washing your hands after, like, you use the bathroom and changing diapers. Like, I totally get that. But we wash our hands before breakfast and after breakfast, so that's twice. Before lunch and after lunch. Before snack and after snack. So what makes no sense to me is I understand before breakfast and after breakfast so their hands don't get dirty before they eat, and then their hands aren't dirty going to play. Before lunch and after lunch, I understand that, so your hands are not getting germs all over, you're not getting germs on your food and trying to eat it at the same time. Like, I get that. So what makes no sense to me is between lunch and snack, we take a 2-hour nap. So the only place that they are on their bed sleeping. So I don't understand why we need to wash our hands in between lunch and snack if they haven't been touching anything. But I do understand if you've changed their diaper. Like, there are certain situations where I do understand it and I don't. And the thing is if, like, say we don't get to one of the children to change their diaper, I don't understand why it's a big deal if we don't wash our hands before that. But maybe that's just my opinion and just me, because if you have to realize that a lot of people, parents, grandparents, they don't wash their hands all the time like that, especially while changing diapers and everything. But that's the truth about working in a daycare. You have to change diapers, you have to feed them, you have to clean up after them, and I just don't think that we get paid enough for it. Personally, I can't change that, and my, of course, boss can't change that either, because they only get paid so much a week per kid. And so they only can do what they can afford, especially with having to feed them and lights and water and all that stuff. So it's very understandable. But if you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below what information you want to know about working in a daycare. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a new video. And I'll see you guys in my next one. I love you guys. Bye. Mwah.